Oh, it's nice to be hands-free.
It is. Well, no, because I feel like I have to do something with my hands. So I'm like holding my hands under the table where you can't see them.
I got somewhere you can put your hands.
Inappropriate.
In a prayer position.
Oh. Okay, wait. Did we start?
We started.
All right, listen up, everybody.
Listen to me because you'll learn.
I'm writing this down. This is good stuff.
I'm ready to go in there and take notes for a couple hours.
Okay, because that is actually, I told you I wanted to bring something up, ask you something on the podcast.
I'm not excited.
That I didn't want to ask you before. I was like, I'm going to save it for the podcast because I want to get live reactions. We've touched on it before, though. But do you think baby Jesus was colicky?
Man, so that's a good thing. That's a good question. I'll explain why it's a good question. Because a lot of people get confused about what the Immaculate Conception was. When people hear the Immaculate Conception, they think Jesus because there was no sex. That's actually not it. This is probably super boring for non-religious people, but the Immaculate Conception was Mary. Mary was born without sin. I think sin creates colicky. Look at our first kid. We did it without being married. Very colicky, very cryy baby. Second kid, we were married. We were in a home. We were good. Yeah. Good baby. Third kid, we went back to the small ass apartment. We've been drinking. We've been, sinning.
She hasn't been baptized yet.
And look at that. And now she's a cryy baby. All that to say, sin causes colic and reflux.
I think we're doctors.
Don't listen to the scientists. Listen to the Lord. Dude, could you imagine how we have the fucking white noise machine?
Yeah.
We have the Docatot on the crib. We have the mobile. We have the
swaddles.
You put a heating pad on the crib.
I did. It works.
Don't talk in the past tense. You still put a heating. So it's one. Jesus was in the Middle East.
In a barn somewhere.
In fucking hay. That kid could not sleep. There's no way. And if he did, I'm more mad at my daughters.
Okay, I'm going to tell you, this is good advice for parents, though, for real. Because everything you just said, when I'm like rocking the baby, walking her, and she's just screaming and like she can't get over it, I understand I'm not the Virgin Mary, but I think I'm
not
like.
Not the Virgin, anyway.
I'm like, stop. I'm like. At least, like Mary had it harder. She was in a barn. Like, I'm in air conditioning. I got my fuzzy slippers on. I'm in my cozy sweatpants. Like, if I can't handle this, I don't know.
We also don't have any kids doing drum solos.
Well, the neighbor's car alarm sounds like a drum solo, so dude, I can relate.
I like that Mackenzie asked for a guitar and you gave her a ukulele. And it's so soft, and it's like, you can rock as hard as you want, kiddo. Baby's not waking up.
Because, so remember when she was, I think her second Christmas or something, or third Christmas, we got her an actual guitar because she was obsessed with the Ballad of Flemingrad.
Yeah.
And that thing.
It's a Frozen thing.
It's a Frozen, like, spin-off.
Yeah, so Frozen, and then they had, like, a Frozen short, which is on Disney+. What is it, Frozen Forever?
Olaf's Frozen Adventure.
Olaf's Frozen Adventure. So they have another one that's called Frozen Forever.
No, Frozen Fever.
Frozen Fever. This one's in Olaf's Frozen Adventure. It's on Disney+.
But what were we going to discuss today? Speaking of Frozen, that's a segue.
Oh, what a hell of a segue. That's good. I wish we had a third camera that was on both of us to catch both of us. I'll see if I can use editing to put both of us in frame.
The trick to high fives is you got to keep an eye on the other person's elbow and you won't miss.
Oh, okay. Ready? Watch. See how I went right to your elbow? You idiot. Keep your eye on the ball.
Stupid. Anyway.
No, today last episode we were talking about remembering how to newborn. And this week we wanted to talk about the upcoming... I don't want to say hell because I really am excited.
You're excited. You're more excited than the kids, so.
But we're going to Disney. The week this comes out, we are driving to Disney. So if you're going to be in Disney in Super Bowl weekend, you can come say what's up. We're going to be at Magic Kingdom Saturday. So if you're trying to murder us, Epcot. You know where we are.
And Epcot, because princesses.
And if you're like, man, where in Magic Kingdom are they going to be? We're going for our daughter's birthday. Go to Little Mermaid and just
Center
wait.
The whole time. That's where you're going to find me.
Quick timeout. another of the reasons why I'm losing so much weight. Down 70, not on Ozempic. You can attest to that. I'm not on Ozempic.
No, because you couldn't do it. You tried.
Because I failed Ozempic.
You tried.
I failed Ozempic. I realized my fatness is not a problem with my stomach. It's a problem with my mind. Because I was on Ozempic and I ate and I was like, man, my stomach hurts. And I kept eating. And you were like,
You need to stop.
That's the Ozempic.
full.
That's the Ozempic telling you you're fake full. Stop eating. And I was like, oh, no, man, Theo made this. Like, I gotta eat all this. What are you talking about? It's so rude. Down 70 on no Ozempic. Very proud of myself.
I'm proud of you too.
Thank you. I think I'm still not ready to go on the Goofy Barnstormer with Mackenzie. For those of you who don't know, that's a ride for two people, one lap bar. I went at my fattest with Mackenzie, and she was what, 4 or 5? 4. So she was small as shit. And it's a roller coaster, not a crazy roller coaster, but it's enough of a roller coaster.
Oh, yeah.
And if I didn't immediately intervene, that girl was flying off because my lap is just so much higher than hers.
Which, like Disney, on Seven Dwarfs, they have individual lap bars.
Well, this is an old ride.
Well, we got to get some upgrades for safety.
People weren't as fat back then as they are now.
Or a weight limit.
A weight restriction, yeah. To step on that scale, go do it. You can go wait for your kid out there.
Or you can go by yourself.
No, man. So I remember we're riding and we go on the first drop and like the turn and Mackenzie just lifts up off the chair. Nope. And at that point, it wasn't fun because I love roller coasters. It was fun before that. I'm just death gripping her. Well, life gripping her, really.
Yeah, yeah.
The entire ride. And she's like, Dad, I want to go again because Goofy's Barnstormer. If you've never been to Disney World, that ride either has no line or 12-hour line. There's no in between.
No, and you spend more time when the ride is over, like waiting to pull in, than on the actual ride.
But the line, that's got to be the weirdest line.
Yeah,
it's either no line or a huge line. Doesn't make sense. And she's like, oh, no line. Can we go again? I was like, you got to go with skinny ass mom.
Yeah, and then I had to ride it 28 times. But this is why this is why she's traumatized with roller coasters. She finished riding that day and then she was like, wait a minute, what did I just go through? And she processed it. And now she hates roller coasters and I can't get her to go on any.
Pobrecita.
You traumatized her.
So we're going to Disney. Actually, you know what? Let's just talk about road trips with kids. iPads, 100%.
The end. Next topic.
Bro, iPads and chargers.
Yeah.
That's why I like our Carnival.
Yeah.
And I loved our old car as well because it had like USB plugs in the back. Like every seat has key elements to a road trip. Number one, iPads and chargers.
Well, make sure you download whatever movies, videos.
Download. Unless you're rich as shit and you've got the Wi-Fi hotspot in the car.
But I feel like even then it's going to be slow. And there's certain parts within the road trip where like you kind of lose service, I feel like. So just download everything you think they might want. Just download it.
Download. So you have all the movies on Disney Plus and like all the other streaming services downloaded, ready to roll.
Yeah, and snacks.
Chargers, snacks. We have this thing that we got at Buc-ee's, which if you're not from the South, that's another thing I want to talk about. I mentioned in the car the other day, it's a very quick thought. These Philadelphians think Wawa's the greatest convenience store. That's because they've never been to Buc-ee's.
No,
if you find yourself at a Buc-ee's, they sell these trays for kids that's got a cup holder and snack tray. And it's just perfect. And if you've got other options, I'm sure other people sell
That's an unbiased opinion from us because, I mean, we have a Wawa, but we don't have like a bunch of Wawas and a bunch of Buc-ee's. So our opinion that Buc-ee's is superior.
Super unbiased.
Unbiased.
Super unbiased.
Listen,
I look forward to long drives when we go to Texas and
their chicken sandwich.
Oh, no, for me, the chicken sandwich and the pulled pork, I gotta have two.
Oh my gosh.
That's why I'm losing weight, so I can afford to eat those.
It doesn't have to be Houston, but that's
where my sister lives.
Yeah, that's
so it's like that's the one that makes sense.
Yeah.
I would like to go to Austin and get some more sets in. That was a fun trip, except for the fact that I couldn't sell any tickets at my main show and it got canceled.
But we can go to Houston and then drive to womp womp. Moving on. iPads, chargers, snacks. Buc-ee tray.
Or any tray. I'm sure they sell other things, but I'm a fan of Buc-ee. I'm a big fan also of headphones for the iPads.
Yes.
Because then we can control the radio.
Yeah. And they have now like kids Bluetooth headphones too, so you can set that up. Like they don't have to be cabled in anymore. Yeah.
I don't know if I trust it. Yeah, but like when you listen to things on Bluetooth in the headphones, there's a bit of a delay, which I guess for Maya, because she's already half deaf, like it wouldn't make a difference. But for like Mackenzie, am I wrong? Obviously, I'm wrong.
So if you have a little baby though, like Madison, you got to schedule it at nap time. The drives at naps.
110%. Like every road trip that we've done so far with
Yeah.
her, which is just the 2 hours to Port St. Lucie and back, have been
Nap
we're
time.
feeding her here, giving her hour wake window, hour and change,
Yeah, now it's hour and change.
and then we'll drive as soon as like she starts yawning or getting fussy like that. We're ready to go. We're ready to get in the car. Car's packed as soon as you start feeding, and
Yeah.
then we're sitting there for an hour waiting, just like
watching, like,
fucking.
oh, come on,
Girls
come
are
on.
watching Bluey. They don't know what's going on,
Yeah,
but
they
you
don't
and me
care.
are on high alert.
And we're like, girls, bathroom, go.
Oh, tactical wheeze. Shout
Which
out
is
Bluey.
a Bluey thing, yeah.
Tactical wheeze.
We'll look up what episode it is and let me know. I don't know what it is.
yeah, we
It's a
tell our kids-
tactical, not that you have. Oh, I thought that rhymed. It doesn't rhyme. I thought it rhymed. Tactical.
Not that you have to go.
It kind of like a slant rhyme.
Eminem would make it work.
Spaghetti.
And then for us,
yeah.
I used to, and I'm still a big proponent. Husbands, if your wife wants to listen to a podcast, she deserves the radio because she's
Crime
got her
junkie.
she's got her CarPlay in with the maps on or Android. Actually, if you have Android autoplay,
Move on.
don't listen to
is
this
not
podcast.
for you.
That's so rude. No, they've got the Android Play, they've got the CarPlay. They can listen to their podcast. Guys, dads, get AirPods, and you only need one because you don't want your wife to know
I was about
that
to
you're
say.
not listening to her. So you put the one in the left ear, you've got your podcast going on, you've got your music, whatever it is, and she thinks she's listening. And then every time she says, "Babe, did you hear that?" You go, "I cannot believe that criminal."
Wait, but I made you.
And then it's
listen-
like, yeah, because you know they're listening to true crime. So like, what a criminal! I'll tell you, got to say, just have a few of those canned.
Can we talk about other podcasts on this podcast? Is that allowed?
Yes,
Because I made you listen to that one episode of Crime Junkie about the Lacey Peterson
Mm-hmm.
case, and that was so good. Even you were engaged in asking questions.
I mean that's my problem.
Did
That's
he
a
do
that's
it?
a me
Didn't he?
problem.
Okay, that's another topic because
Because when I can start watching a bad show. Unless I know the ending is terrible and I'm not gonna like it, I'm gonna watch it all the way through. The
No,
only
you're
show I
so
didn't
good at
finish
that.
is Sons of Anarchy because I know the ending's gonna break my heart, so I didn't watch it. But even it still hurts me to this
Is
day that I
that the
haven't
one with
finished.
the cute guy and the motorcycles?
Yeah, it is. I can't even get mad.
Yeah.
He's so good looking.
I didn't watch that one, but yeah, once you start watching something, you're like, I'm committed.
I have
Like
to.
if I don't like it, I'm like, okay, let me scroll on my phone. You're like zoned in. You're
have to.
ready to go.
I have to. I guess I gotta. I don't care how bad the writing is, how stupid the plot is. If I'm such a chismoso, I'm such a fucking gossip queen.
So you're like, I have to
I
know.
gotta know how it ends. And if the season 1 finale doesn't end in a cliffhanger, I'll be able to stop.
Okay.
But if
Por lo menos.
it answers all the questions of season 1, then sets up the problem of season 2, you fucked me because now I got to watch 10 more
You should
episodes on
watch
HBO
Sweet
Max.
Magnolias. One of the I don't know if it's season 1
I
or
should shove a dick in
2.
my ass. Like I'm not. Those are the two. Those
It's
two things are the
so
same thing.
good.
For me, those two things are the same thing.
But one of the seasons ends in a car accident, and you don't know who was driving. You don't know who was in the car accident. You don't know anything, and then you have to wait until the next season. And you're like,
I wish it was me. That's honestly. If I had to watch that show, I'd rather be the guy in the car
that
accident
show is so good, and you're a hater. And if you watched it, you would love it because I know you. But
because I'm half gay.
once you get to Orlando,
Once you get to Orlando,
my parents are gonna drive up ahead. They're gonna decorate the whole hotel room with princess.
did we mention we're going for her birthday?
Oh, I don't know.
We're going for Maya's birthday. The
Maya's
good one.
turning 4. She loves princesses, and so they're gonna go ahead. They're gonna decorate the whole room with princess decorations that I got. We got balloons, we got a backdrop, we got.
We have a
tablecloth.
negative sign in our bank account. That's what the fuck we have.
No, because word of the year was discipline, and we saved up for this trip. So they're gonna go ahead. They're gonna decorate everything. We're gonna get there, and she's gonna be like, "Oh my god, this is the coolest thing ever!" And then that first day, we don't really have plans because it's just like make it to Orlando.
Yeah, because we're going on a Friday, so we're gonna go to school because she needs the school birthday where everyone in school celebrates her.
Which is Bluey, super cute though.
Can you believe that now you have to do like themes for school birthdays? If you're like, that's
Oh,
crazy.
yeah. Well, when we were kids, it was like, did we even get school birthday? Well,
No.
my birthday was always on winter break, I think.
But
So I
think
didn't
about
get,
Mackenzie, which was just 4 years ago, when she was in that school, it was just bring cupcakes and Little Caesars.
Honey, no. And Miss
I didn't
S's
decorate.
class, she was Blue's Clues. In Miss class,
Oh, but
she
that's
was
just
Encanto.
listen though. That's going to Party City and buying a stack of plates because we didn't have decorations up like you have planned for
but
this.
also for Maya in the morning when I set up like her little gift and her little table for her to wake up in the morning and walk out of her
What did
room,
we get her?
It's blue. We got her a little bluey house with the little bluey characters, and then a bluey dress for her to wear to school, and the little bingo ears because she wanted bingo. I was like, "It's your birthday, you can be bluey." She's like, "No, that's Mackenzie." Okay, so Saturday we're going to Magic Kingdom.
Saturday.
We're waking up. We want to be there as early as possible. 'Cause
Rope drop.
We don't have Lightning Lane, or I don't know if we're getting it. We're still in discussions. I'll probably buy it. But
Hold up. Rope drop. We're doing rope drop. My family of Cubans, if you don't know any Cuban, if you're listening to this, it's because you know us. If you're this early in the pod, you know us, which means you know Cubans and you know our stereotypes. If you're listening to this in a few years, like, oh, let me listen back to all the Take Notes episodes. I just discovered it on Instagram because I follow at Take Notes Pod on Instagram. Cubans stereotype being late, taking their sweet ass time with everything.
yeah.
My mom didn't know what rope drop was until 2 years ago because of a bit I said about being at rope drop at Costco.
I remember that. But we're not allowed to talk crap about your mom anymore. I like her.
Yeah, she's tolerable, but like we can say this. So my family was always
guess it's a
wake
true
up,
story.
go grab breakfast at Cracker Barrel, go buy sandwiches at Subway for the park because we're not gonna buy lunch at the park, but we're fat. We're gonna buy lunch in the park too. And then we'll get to the park like at 10, 11 every single time. My mom had no idea what rope drop was. We're at Costco. I put on my story here at rope drop at Costco, and my mom's like, "Ooh, does Costco do something?" I'm like,
You're like, "No, Disney does."
Disney has a show at the opening of the park every single day. And she's like, I didn't know that. I'm like, yeah, because we wake up at 10. The park opens at
I
8.
will tell you, our first Disney trip, I think I've told you this before, was the most irritating
Yeah, for you.
Disney trip for me because my family was like, wake up at 6 a.m. You're in the parks by 6:30 a.m. just waiting. I think that trip, I was like, what in the world? And then I learned very early on to not have any expectations. And I think that's the key.
Time out until you got our family and you have gone back to itinerary queen.
Well, sort of.
Sort of.
No.
You wrote out an entire itinerary with our daughters.
That's not an itinerary. Why does everyone think that's an itinerary? I asked
Because
the
it
girls.
says itinerary.
No, it's the plan. I said, what do you guys want to do while we're there? And they said, we want to do Buzz. We want to do Monsters, Inc. We want to do the Speedway. We want to do this. We want to do that. And then Mackenzie, that's a Mackenzie thing. She was like, then we have to go to Gaston's Tavern and we got to drink juice and throw coin. But my thing is kind of, after we had that first trip with Mackenzie where I was like, on a strict schedule, this is what we're going to do, whatever. And she's a baby. She didn't cooperate.
Yeah.
And so after that, I'm like, yeah, I have things we want to do. But you also have to be flexible when you're going with kids because there's going to be meltdowns. There's going to be tantrums. There's going to be snack breaks. There's going to be lunch breaks. You're going to have to take them to the bathroom 84 times. You're going to have to change their diapers, like all of these things. So you just have to make sure you stay like flexible throughout the trip.
And something that it doesn't matter if you're a newborn or if you're a toddler.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that cures all is a
Snacks.
good.
Oh.
I was going to say a good walk.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like there was that day that we were sitting around waiting, and the girls were like, they were younger. I think it was like 4 and 2 that they were, and they were just both getting like riled up. They were like not cooperating with anything. We looked at the time. It was like 1 p.m. and it felt like 1 a.m. It was 1 p.m. and I was like, you know what? They haven't napped.
Is that the Hollywood
We've got the
Studios
stroller
one? Yeah.
No, this is the. I'm picturing this one time I did in Magic Kingdom, which I remember was the first time, and I've done it since.
Yeah,
which is I'll just recline the chairs
And walk.
and well, I'm not telling them, hey, it's time to go to sleep.
No, you can't.
I'm just walking.
They can sense weakness. You
Exactly.
Can't tell them.
So I'm just, oh, yeah, we're gonna walk around a little bit because we're waiting for the show. I like, oh, yeah, the show's in a couple hours, so we're just gonna walk around. We're gonna see some things, maybe go to a couple stores, whatever. Tell the kids that, and if your kids are not old enough to listen, even better, you can shut your fucking mouth.
You don't have to tell them anything.
Close the canopy as far as you can, recline it as much as you can, and just walk. Because if we have the worst baby in the history of babies, and a good walk can knock her out,
It cannot.
that's undefeated. That'll work for anybody, and it works for the toddlers. Just give them food, give them a little snack, give them a Mickey ice cream because it's not going to rile them up because they're so tired. That sugar does nothing to them. And just walk for 10 minutes, look inside. If they're still awake, keep walking. Then they fall asleep. Then
keep walking.
you keep walking, go eat. Like especially if they're toddlers that you don't have to like, every breeze of wind will wake them up.
Yeah, no, when they knock out, they knock out.
They knock out. And so
they're like drunk people.
You can just go sit down at a restaurant, which for me has become, I used to love going to Disney and doing things.
Yeah.
But because we devote everything to our kids now, and we haven't taken an adult trip to Disney.
No.
Since our kids have been born.
No.
At this point, because everything about the trip is, what do you want to do? Oh, we're doing it. What do you want to do? We're doing it. When they fall asleep,
You're like,
I have no problem turning it off, sitting at a restaurant, and just sitting. I have no problem.
Well, we also have to recover from all the walking we did to knock them out, and plus all the walking you do while they're awake.
Do you remember the day we were in Magic Kingdom, and we were going on the Peter Pan ride? And for some reason, that line is always 12 hours long.
Yeah. No,
always.
That line is insane.
And Mackenzie fell asleep.
It's not that good of a ride, guys.
Shut up. It's the best ride.
But get Lightning Lane for it. Don't wait in line. Like, it's not worth the
It's not worth the line. But it's a good ride. I mean, but that's because Peter Pan was my favorite movie.
I guess.
And I remember the whole hour I was carrying Mackenzie because we couldn't take the stroller through the fucking line. I carried Mackenzie, you carried Maya.
Line.
Yeah, no, it didn't fit, but
yeah.
Well,
so make sure you have a good stroller. I feel
take your naps as needed because parents, you're gonna appreciate it as well.
And they might need more naps than usual, or their naps might be 30 minutes instead of a usual 2 hour. Like, you just kind of have to go with the flow is my thing when you go to Disney, especially with small kids. I think now if we went with just the two older girls, you can kind of plan it out more and know what to expect more.
They're 4 years old and 6 years old. You can plan everything out.
Yeah, but with the baby, I feel like this trip is going to be a lot of, I'm going to the baby care center. See you in a bit, which is another thing to take advantage of in Disney is the baby care center. They have.
By the way, this episode is not sponsored by Disney. We're just not Universal people. And I'll tell you exactly why. I'm too fat to go on any of the rides. Don't say
Well, I started my before I knew where
I was going.
So then.
I mean, you're not wrong. I'm too fat to go on the ride, so we don't go to Universal. Now that Daddy's down 70.
I don't know.
I'm actually down 68. I haven't earned 70. I'm down 68. I kind of want to try it.
I might be wrong. I think that's an adult trip is universe. Like, I want to go to Harry Potter World. Like, now that I've read the books, like, I want to do, our kids don't want to do that.
No,
they're going to be like, where's Dr. Seuss? And you're like, I don't care.
Yeah, but now that they're opening the super universe or whatever it's called.
Maybe.
That they've got the Mario world. They've got this world.
I was going to say, Mackenzie might like that.
That's going to be
Maybe
crazy.
Maybe it's a solo trip with her because... Anyway, do you remember that trip that we took? I think we were having... Maya was a baby. We did character lunch or dinner at Hollywood and Vine. I don't know if you remember this.
We've only been there once, so yeah.
And we sit down to give Maya her bottle, and we didn't bring formula to feed her in the parks. And we had to run, or I think it was me because I remember doing this, had to go to the front of the park where the baby care center is and guest services. They have like a little shop thing with the stuffies.
Yeah, every baby care center has a shop, which is awesome too.
And we had to buy formula because we literally forgot to bring formula for our baby to Disney. Yeah. So if you find yourself in a similar predicament and you need diapers, wipes, formula, Tylenol, Benadryl, whatever you need, the baby care center usually has. And it's air conditioned, and they have rocking chairs, and they have microwaves and high chairs, and they're always playing cartoons, and they have little tiny toilets for the little kids.
It's a good place because you get so overstimulated. It's a good place to decompress.
And I feel like I rolled my eyes at first. I was like, oh my God, I'll just feed her at a restaurant, or like, who cares, whatever. When you need those breaks, I think that's a really good place to go that not a lot of people know of. And speaking of like hacks, would that be a hack? I don't know, because it's like open to the public. But if you're going to Magic Kingdom, I heard this, it has to be on Instagram, and I don't remember who put it. So if it was you and you follow me or you know me and you were the one that put it, let me know and I'll give you credit. I like to give credit where credit is due. But if you're going to Disney with kids, try to book breakfast at one of the, are they called monorail resorts? Like the Polynesian, the Contemporary.
Chef Mickey. Just get breakfast at Chef Mickey.
Okay,
It's
so it has
it's
to
an
be
arm and a leg, but yeah.
The French, no, what's the white one in the monorail? The white
The Grand
hotel?
Floridian, the Polynesian, and the
Okay,
Contemporary.
so look for reservations in those because when you have a breakfast reservation, you can park at that resort. Actually, I don't know if this is Disney legal, but
I'll tell you exactly how legal it is. Finish your thought.
you park at the resort, you go and you have your breakfast, and then instead of going back in your car driving to Magic Kingdom, you just take the monorail to Magic Kingdom. You don't have to worry about Ticket and Transportation Center. You don't have to worry about the trams loading and unloading kids and strollers. And the lines for the monorail are a lot longer and the ferry at Ticket and Transportation than just at the Contemporary. You go up, hop on your monorail and go to the place.
So here's two things.
Magic
Number
Kingdom.
one, whoever you think invented this did not fucking invent it.
I don't know if they invented
We've
it.
been doing that for Cubans have been doing that for fucking years. We've been doing it for years. And as a matter of fact, what we used to do,
Whatever.
we used to lie about having reservations just to park at the Contemporary.
No, but
I have
now
a
you
buddy
to show them the
now, but I have a buddy.
app.
I have the
Go out there like,
oh.
I mean, too late now. You already said
All
it.
right, they would go to the Contemporary and be like, "Hey, our last name is the Ortiz, but our friends made the reservation at Chef Mickey for us, so I don't know if it's under Ortiz, Gomez, or Diaz." And those are the three of the most common last names that for sure they're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I got you right here on
They're like,
their
did
paper."
you mean Rodriguez? Yes, I did.
Yeah. That's the other guy who makes reservations for me. and they would park there, get on the monorail, and go.
I feel like this is one of those things where you're like, Cubans invented it. It's like, yeah, just like every Cuban was a neurosurgeon back then. Like, oh, I invented it. Okay, sure, Jen.
It's that Cubans are the kings of fraud. Miami
I
became
can attest to that.
Miami became the fraud capital of the world as soon as Cubans got in. We know how to get away, we know our way around things, but to answer if it's legal.
It's not.
It's not, but I remember when we had breakfast, I think at Chef Mickey, that we drove there. I asked the lady, I was like, "Hey,
Can we leave the car?
am I allowed to park here? And like after breakfast, are we allowed to go to Magic Kingdom and then come back and leave our car here?" And she goes, "I'm sorry, I didn't hear you." And I go, "No, are we allowed?" She's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Enjoy your breakfast." And she winks at me, and I'm like, "Oh,
What a magical day.
criminals!" And so it's not legal. Disney Magic, they're not going up and down the cars.
Did you just have the train of thought I had when you said Disney Magic? I
On
know
the mouse?
We're talking about taking kids to Disney, but do you remember that one Disney trip that we had before kids?
Oh, where Disney Magic died.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, that's another story for another day.
No, it's quick because two things happen in back to back.
Yeah.
We went on an old ride called the Great Movie Ride, throwback TBT.
Mickey and Minnie's Runaway.
It's not Mickey and Minnie's
Runaway.
Runaway, but everyone that's listening to
Womp
this
womp.
definitely knows Great Movie Ride. And there's a scene where everyone knows the climax of the ride, where the guy who's the criminal from the criminal movie, whether he's Western or
Like
the
a
New York
mobster,
gangster,
yeah.
which by the way, a lot of people didn't realize if you got there before 9, like after noon, they would stop doing the cowboy. So that's why me as a kid, I never got the cowboy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, at noon they stopped doing the cowboy. That's why most people always get the mobster. But before noon, you're either getting mobster or cowboy. But not anymore because the ride died.
GMR, go.
The mobster steals the ride, and you're going through all the movies, and he's like, "Hey, I will be a wisecracker over here." And it's like, you go to Alien, and he's like, "What are these aliens doing in New York? What are we, in the subway?" And then you go to Indiana Jones, and it's like, "Hey, Indy, I have guns." And then you keep going.
That was good. That's
I'm really good. I'm really good. I'm pretty sure I worked there in a past life, and then at the climax where it's like, "Oh, look, a jewel that's forbidden.
Expensive.
I'm gonna steal it." And it's like the voiceover from the car is like, "Don't steal it." He's like, "Oh, fuck off!" And he goes.
I don't think. Okay.
And he touches the thing, and the smoke comes out. And then when the smoke clears, your original tour guide is there, and it's like, yeah.
And that's where you bond with the whole car.
Everyone that's not 12 understands that behind the smoke there's a spinning door, and they switch places. It's very simple. We went and the smoke didn't come up, and the mobster is not a good improviser.
Yeah, he was like, fuck it.
If I'm putting myself in his shoes, if I'm the mobster, I go, oh, I guess it's glued to there. I'm not taking it, but let me see what's behind this corner. And then
go around.
go around. And then when I see the original tour, I'm like, hey, turn off my mic. Like, hey, punch me and knock me out because the smoke didn't work out. The smoke didn't work. Knock me out, save the day like that.
Disney
it's like, hey, what are you doing back here? Bang! And then knock out and triumphant return.
Woo.
I guess that's violence and they don't want to add it, but I mean, they had an alien that's about to eat your face. You can have one punch. But yeah, so the smoke doesn't work. The guy, instead of coming up with a great idea, turns around, panics, and then just goes through the door. Turns the door himself for everyone to see. The old tour guy, the original tour guy comes out and is like, oh, I'm back. And everyone's just like,
boo.
Magic dies. We go from there to another
notice
former.
How it's every thing that is no longer there.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
We go from there to Light Motors Action, which is now Toy Story Land. And
I think I jinxed this one because we were walking in.
We're walking in. What did you say?
I asked you if it was real drivers, real people actually driving, or if there was computerizing. You were like, no, it's real people. And I'm like, so there's room for human error.
And I go, yeah, of course there's room for human error. On the third, and Lights Motors Action, if you never went, man, you missed out. I think they might still have it in Paris.
Everything's better in Paris.
No, because it was that year, a long time ago, that all the Disneylands gave something to each other.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know what the Disney World gave to other ones, but that's how we got Soarin'. We got it from California. We got Lights Motors Action from Paris.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah. We got the Bad Drivers from Disneyland Tokyo. And so we...
You can't say things like that.
So we're sitting down. It's the third. So they do stunt driving, and it was badass, man. So they do some cool shit with cars. Then they show you cool stuff of how they make the movies. Oh, the driver. Whenever there's a remote driving car, there's a driver on the other side, that the camera can't see. How cool!
Or the reverse driving.
when the car is doing some crazy shit in reverse, it's because there's a guy looking out that window and driving, and we move the engine to the back. It's very cool. And they're on their third stunt. So they have 3 different choreographed scenes. In between the scenes, they're educating you. And on the second scene, the hero's on a motorcycle. And one of the things is he's riding his motorcycle. A bad guy's right next to him, and he kicks him off, and it's super cool. And as he was kicking him off, his boot got caught on the bad guy's motorcycle. And they both had to just spill out to fucking save this guy's leg.
Yeah.
And everyone rushes to the scene, which, yeah, I mean, every time there's a crash, everyone rushes, they pop up. Yay! That's when it's choreographed.
Not this time.
This time they're over there. They're and the director, the guy acting like a director of a movie that they're filming. It's so of course with live stunts, there's always a risk for human error, literally quoting you. There's always a risk for human error. We are going to have to end the show to make sure everyone's okay. That was not planned, but hey, everyone seems to be okay. We are going to have to end the show now, though. We're
Wild.
What the fuck?
Wild.
Dude, both of those gone now.
I wonder why. I wonder why. They're let's get rid of the human
How long
error.
have we been talking for? All right, let's end this podcast.
Wait, you don't have any more Disney tips?
I don't. Just for me, it's don't go in with an itinerary. Go with an idea of 3 things the entire family wants to do, or 2 things everyone individually wants to do. Find a way to knock all those out, but don't give plans. Don't, especially with a baby.
And if you go in the summer, take a fan.
Oh man, those fans. Hell yeah. You can have the neck ones, or if you still have a stroller, the ones that octopus grip onto the stroller. Yeah. Fans, don't make a plan. Get ready to just live life by the balls of your seat.
Oh, and one more thing I do want to mention really quick before we go. When you're at the park, I'm not 100% sure they still do this, but if you buy something, so if you're in the middle of Magic Kingdom and you buy something, they can send it to the front of the park and hold it until you're leaving, so you don't have to carry it around the park all day.
Yeah, or
if you
do
stay
what
on
we do.
property. Oh.
get a carabiner, like a big carabiner. If you don't know what a carabiner is, Google it. But
Like
it's like
the little hook clip thing.
the clip that like mountain climbers use to clip themselves to the rope.
Oh yeah.
Get a carabiner, a big ass one, and just hang everything off there. That's
On
what
your
we
stroller,
do.
yeah.
Our carabiner ends up having a shit ton of bags, the baby bag, and then there's stuff underneath the coche.
Yeah.
It's,
But they can, if you stay on property, they can also send it to your resort.
yeah,
Fun
but
fact.
we're
but
not rich.
Caribbean, yeah, we don't stay on property.
Sorry about that.
Shout out Tata.
Shout out the family that lives in Orlando, Tata.
Right? Literally.
Um,
And as
That's it.
always, stay cute.
stay cute.